If you're a product manager preparing for an AI interview in 2025, you're probably doing at least one of these wrong. Trust me, after coaching 1,000 product managers and interviewing many others at Google, I've seen the same mistakes being made over and over again. And in this video, I'll walk you through the 9 biggest mistakes product managers make when preparing for AI interviews and how to fix each one. These mistakes are the difference between thanks, we've gone with another candidate, and we want to fast track you to the final round. So let's dive in with mistake number 1, which is treating AI interviews just like regular product management interviews. This is the most common one. You'll walk in with the same product frameworks. You talk about MVPs, stakeholder alignments, success metrics, and then you get completely blindsided when they ask, what trade-offs would you make if the model had high latency? How would you handle hallucinations? What guardrails would you put in place? AI interviews are fundamentally different. You're being assessed on how to think in a new level of ambiguity, in risk, with technology that's not always reliable. This is critical. So you have to take into account those considerations. You have to understand that AI products can be significantly different than non-AI products in the technical risk you're taking. Mistake number 2, over-focusing on tools and not thinking. This one's sneaky. You start playing with GPTs, different tools, learn LangChain, maybe binge a Coursera course. But then in the interview, you struggle to answer. What was the user problem you were solving? What were your business goals? Why was this ROI positive? Why was AI the right solution? Look, AI tools are evolving fast. But you know what's timeless? Product thinking is timeless. So don't lead with tools. Lead with product thinking first. That's one of the fundamental mistakes you make is you lead with AI rather than product thinking. Mistake number 3, assuming accuracy is enough. In AI, 85% accuracy doesn't mean much on its own. You need to be thinking about many other things. Helpfulness, honesty, harm. These are now evaluation metrics. For example, let's just talk about AI model accuracy. It refers to how often the model's predictions match the correct or expected results. Now, let's take an example. Let's take a classification task like maybe spam detection or image labeling. It's usually calculated as accuracy equals number of correct predictions divided by total number of predictions. For example, if a model correctly identifies 90 out of 100 emails as spam or not spam, its accuracy is 90%. But here's the catch. Accuracy alone can be misleading. Imagine a model that predicts not spam for every email in a data set where only 5% are actually spam. It would be 95% accurate while being completely useless at identifying spam. You'll get fired for building such algorithm. That's why in AI product interviews, you're expected to go beyond accuracy and consider metrics like precision and recall, especially when outcomes are imbalanced. The F1 score, which is the harmonic mean of precision and recall. The confusion matrix, the breakdown of true versus false positives and negatives. Real world impact. Example, is a false positive more harmful than a false negative? You need to understand what different metrics are and what it means. And you need your own framework for deciding what good enough means specific to that problem, especially when users are trusting your product to act intelligently. Mistake number 4, ignoring ethical risks and regulation. AI product managers are expected to have a point of view on privacy, on fairness, on explainability, on compliance. You're not offloading this to legal. You're designing the product. That means you own the risk. For example, what would you do if your chatbot gave inconsistent advice to people of different ethnic background, races, and whatnot? That's a problem you have to tackle, and you can't offload that to legal. And then, other things like guardrails, confidence threshold, output filters, user control. All these are ethical considerations that you need to own as a product manager. Show that you've thought these through in interviews. Without these, you'll be just seen as another PM who kinda is dabbling in AI but doesn't really get it. Mistake number 5, forgetting about the human in the loop. Product managers love automation, but full automation, it's pretty much a myth in AI. Every system needs a fallback. What happens when the model is unsure? Can a human review the output? What does recovery look like? I'll give you a few examples. So, for example, we've built tools for people in our intentional job search program to practice product design interviews, tailor their pitch for a company, build out their stories, and whatnot. But we are aware of some of the challenges, and we are working to fix it. Sometimes AI just makes shit up. I've seen it create stories for people with accomplishments that they never had. So we have to be careful. Right now, we are aware that our features are basic, but it's something we're looking to correct. Figure out where people can flag where things are happening wrong and actually fix those. A strong example of an AI product that integrates human in the loop is Google Photos face grouping and tagging system. Here's how it works and why it's a great interview-ready example. So, Google Photos face grouping and tagging system automatically groups similar faces and suggests names to tag people in your photos. It uses facial recognition to detect and cluster faces, suggests possible names based on contacts or prior tags. Now you, the user, confirms, rejects, or corrects the AI suggestions. When you correct a wrong grouping, that feedback helps improve future clustering for you, and in some cases for the broader system. This is a great human in the loop example because human confirmation reduces errors in sensitive areas like misidentifying people in family albums. It balances automation with control, giving users trust and transparency. And the feedback improves the model over time, which shows a feedback loop in action. So show that you don't just build features, you build and design safety nets. Mistake number 6, proposing magic, not MVPs. We've all heard this one. We'll just build a smart assistant that can answer any question. Based on what training data? With what latency budget? For what use cases? All MVPs are different. You need feedback loops. You need fallback paths. You need guardrails from day one. For example, smart PMs don't propose magic. They build scrappy, testable AI experiences. Mistake number 7, not having a clear narrative. This one kills so many great candidates. They walk in and say, I'm excited about AI, but there's no story, no arc, no why. Here's what your narrative leads. Who are you as a product leader? How do you think about products? How do you tackle challenges that you need to? What are the biggest problems you've solved in the past? What draws you to use AI as a tool? What have you tried or built leveraging AI? What problem are you obsessed with solving using AI right now? For example, our client Nora landed a staff product management role in AI because she showcased herself to be a product leader first and AI fluent second. You need to lead with the problems you are most adept at solving as a product leader first. Showcase yourself as the obvious choice and bring in AI second. Mistake number 8, leaving trust and user experience out of the conversation. Great AI product managers know that trust is a feature. In your interviews, be ready to talk about how users know what the model did, how you explain outputs or let users correct them. Where and how do you show uncertainty? For example, confidence scores, disclaimers, and whatnot. You need to think through the entire user experience and ultimately figure out if the user is going to trust AI or you're going to have to require them to blindly follow it. Mistake number 9, not having a point of view on how AI will benefit your target company. This is the advanced move most product managers make. Your interviewer wants to see how you have thought about AI and how it moves the needle for that company. Not in generic ways, but specific ones. Can you speak to their current product, their level of AI maturity, their key pain points? You might not have all the information, but at least you have hypotheses and well thought out ideas that you can bring to the table. You have to bring your product thinking. So, for example, one of our clients landed a VP of product role at $1 billion valuation company leading all AI initiatives. She did not come in with a point of view of, hey, let's maybe, leverage OpenAI's APIs, or maybe let's use something from Anthropic. That was a technical decision that could have been taken later. But the segments to target, the user problems, the ROI, the risks, that was all product thinking. This shows you're not just AI literate, you're business literate. Now I'm going to give you mistake number 10, a bonus, which is ignoring cost and monetization. Most product managers avoid this question. But look, AI is incredibly expensive. The operating cost is huge. You need to talk cost per query. You need to talk about APIs versus self-hosted trade-offs. You need to understand impact on pricing or margins. When I interviewed Ram Rajgopalan on my podcast, he shared something that every AI product manager needs to hear. Building an AI product isn't just about models and features. It's about business viability. He said that once we validated the AI use case with customers, we had to build the business case. That meant estimating attach rates, project pricing, and most importantly, calculating the actual cost of goods sold for the AI product. Now, this matters because inference cost in AI can add up fast. You're not just building features, you're creating a cost center, and you want to know that this cost is worth and it's a profit. You need to know what's the cost per query or action. How does usage scale with cost? Can we attach the cost to an existing product for margin recovery? So he said that in large companies like Rick Central, pricing isn't set by product. It's a shared decision involving legal, marketing, privacy, and finance. And as a PM, your job is to propose the math that actually generates profit. You need to justify the R&D and infrastructure costs for it to be ultimately profitable and important for the company. You have to work across teams to make the business model work. And you don't just stop there. Ram emphasized that in global companies, data residency, compliance, and language support can drastically affect both cost and feasibility. So don't just walk into interviews talking about features. Come in ready to say, here's the AI use case, here's the cost structure, here's how we plan to monetize it sustainably. You just got the 9.5 biggest mistakes product managers make in AI interviews. Let me recap quickly. Treating AI like regular PM interviews. Over-focusing on tools and not product management thinking. Assuming accuracy is enough. Ignoring ethics and regulation. Forgetting human in the loop. Proposing magic instead of MVPs. Complete lack of narrative. Not considering trust and transparency in the user experience. No point of view on how AI benefits that company. And the bonus, ignoring cost and business model consideration. Fix these and you won't just survive the interview, you'll own it. Now, if you want to really get to the next level and craft your AI product management narrative, design that killer side project that will help you there, and then negotiate a role that pays you what you're worth in today's market. I encourage you to book a call with my team. I'll leave a link right below in the description. Speak to you very soon.